go for it as well.
Is off. Okay. Is mine? Oh fuck! God, it fucking hurt my ear. All right, so welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm here with again with
Ethan Steele.
Ethan Steele. God.
Yeah, that's my name.
Fucking head hurts. Yeah. With Ethan Steele on the stream. We just started again. Welcome. Let's get this shit rolling here.
Yes, send me the link and stuff. I'll post it in the Ancom group.
Alright, let's get this shit started. I'll send it, you prefer we send it to you through,
Just Skype, yeah. Just
Skype.
link it me on Skype. I'll message Jacob about it.
Alright, there we go. Let's see if that, yep. Alright. So. Shit, we got a lot of stuff for you today. Jesus Christ. But we're only going to try to fit this in a 1 hour segment, unlike last time, which was a two and a half hour segment.
2 hours, 23 minutes.
Yeah. So this time we're really going to try our best to fit it into just one small 1 hour, or at least seemingly small 1 hour segment.
Yeah, I tried getting the unofficial first episode into sort of a normal length. I'm 2 days in, and it's sort of it's too long for me to sort of go through and edit out each little bit of silence.
Yeah.
So this is gonna have to be the first official episode.
Oh, for the podcast. But
yeah,
this is episode 2 of the live stream itself.
Well, episode 1 of the Black Flag Revolutionaries podcast.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with the alt-right actually successfully after their multiple attacks on the It's Going Down Patreon account. The It's Going Down Patreon account was actually taken down, as well as the alt-right. I think the Ship Patreon account was taken down as well. So
yeah, the
no, that's
what's
defunded.
it called?
The boat.
What do they call it? Like the Sea Star or something?
I don't know. It's probably some stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we want to fuck children. Yeah, HMS I fuck children. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, in response to that, Sub Media and Stim, the Stimulator, they took down their Patreon accounts in fear of what would the same thing happening. So, but they do have a donate part. They do have a donate page on the Submedia Stimulator webpage. Also, Turkey is still attacking Kurdish people and committing genocide upon the Kurdish people. Still, Afrin is under siege by the Turkish, and yesterday, in response to this, still, the Kurds launched, I guess, a bunch of missiles on Turkish positions. So,
yes.
Fuck yeah. Fuck Turkey.
Yeah. Big up you fuck Erdogan, and big up Öcalan.
Yeah. Also, back to the alt-right ship that has officially been detained as of yesterday. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good fucking thing, because the identitarian movement, which is what it's linked to, is a flaming hot pile of racist trash. It's not alt-right per se, but it's associated with the alt-right, because I think, what was it? It's not Ann Coulter. Katie Hopkins, she's just like one of the worst journalists in the UK. Fucking awful. join
Also,
them, but yeah.
also,
Yeah.
Beanie Head from Vice News
Mm,
was one of the crowdfunders for it, or one of the main guys, I believe.
yeah. Gavin McGuinness funded that, didn't he? And he's like a Proud Boys guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? What's the name? One of like a big alt-right person. She's Canadian, I think. Was on it. It's called the. It's called the. It's started by the group Defend Europe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was that came on. It's called the Sea Star. Um,
We'll
it's
probably have comments saying who the fuck's who's all these fucking people are. Okay, we got Sky Gee. The great fuck the alt-right. Yeah. Wait. That great fuck the alt-right. Oh yeah. I read that wrong a little bit. I'm like, what the? My brain is not it is not in the best condition. As of lately.
Yeah, do you want to talk about why that is? Yeah, or should
I'm gonna keep that for later.
yeah, good one. Any more news from you?
Well, the last thing I have is gonna be a little lengthy, but you know I'm gonna go for it.
Go on.
All right, so as of Monday morning, Central Time, I believe 2:59 a.m. Central Time, Isaiah Tucker, very well-known person in the Oshkosh region, was shot by OPD policemen Aaron Achterberg and Kyle Roberts. Yeah, apparently he was stealing a car, and he noticed the cops saw him, and apparently, to the cops, he was driving towards them, and they shot their guns. I mean, why would you have a gun out if you're gonna deal with the guy that has a car? Why anything, really? I don't get this. This is in quite close relation to me. I didn't know the family, but I know people that know the family. Yesterday, or I believe, yesterday, someone started a GoFundMe for Isaiah Tucker, so that he can have a proper funeral. As I know right now, Isaiah Tucker. Well, as I think right now, all of this is unjust. All of this is just crazy stupid. Everything that's been going on with the local police around here has been just trash and garbage. And it's not been a national thing that's been heard around the nation. A lot of people have been contacting me about this, and I'm just like, what happened to me? I'm just trying to lay what happened to me before this Isaiah Tucker thing. I've been trying to lay low, and I don't want to organize anything, but I'm really trying to find other people to help organize this. And if anyone's willing to help, please go and help the family first. Help them heal. Right now is a time for mourning for his death. Rest in power, Isaiah. Shit. Ever since the Trump thing, that speech Trump made, like not even a few days earlier, it's just been just complete shit. A lot of police have been emboldened to want to go out and actually rough people up, even though that was technically a joke. I don't understand it. So
Yeah, it's a worrying time in America, and it's starting to, the police violence epidemic is starting to sort of leak over here too. Recently, a man was killed being detained by a police officer in London. He was a drug dealer and stuff. So lots of people were saying, "Oh, he deserved it and stuff." The pieces of shit. Yeah, you know, in the footage, the CCTV footage of when he died before he was detained by the police officer, it looked like he was something in his mouth, and people were saying he took drugs and stuff. Even though recently the coroner has said that that didn't happen. Riots have happened all over the country because of it, because he's the fourth black man to be killed by police in the last month, which is more than we got like last year. It's ridiculous, and awful, you know, for lots of people in in all over the fucking world right now. It's scary.
Yeah. Especially for anarchists. And not just anarchists, but even any transgender people, anyone who's just a slightly different color than white, anything that's just a different race, anyone who doesn't look perfect is under the crosshairs of this shit. And I'm gonna post the link to the story that I found on the local newspaper, and onto shit. I can't actually do that, motherfucker. I'll post that down in the description. So that will be led on. I'm gonna actually have that. You guys can type that in. It has the links to the GoFundMe. Please, everyone, please give all the money you can to this man and to this family. They need it the most. And I want this family to feel love. I don't want them to feel hate. I don't want Isaiah Tucker to be regarded as a bad person, because he wasn't. Their goal right now is $10,000. If we can get more than $10,000 for just this family, we can, you know, give them more than just a good funeral. We're gonna give them a perfect funeral for this man. This man's a martyr. And I mean, I'm not a capitalist, but I know and understand that we still live under the capitalist system. He's not going to get a proper funeral if he doesn't get that money. So
yeah, it's lots of people complain about that, but and again, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, so don't complain about people fucking, you know, the family of the guy who's died, you know.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Is that it? The news from you?
Oh, yeah.
I've got.
What do you have?
Right. This is more of a general news thing. It does leak into more leftist stuff, but the journalist, the video game journalist, Nick Robinson, he used to work at Giant Bomb when that was still a thing. He now works as the video producer for Polygon.com. I've enjoyed his content for a while. He makes some good video series and podcasts that I enjoy. But it turns out there's lots of things from insiders within the industry that he seems to be harassing women, female developers, and it's a worrying time, because it's just like, it's how many years since Gamergate? 3 years. Yeah, this shit still applies. Here's some, lots of insiders from the industry. This happened on Twitter earlier today, about 4 hours ago, when it really hit the fan. He started when he tweeted about Overcooked, which is a game that came out the other day for the Switch, and it's a bad port. It doesn't run very well, and they sent him an email about it because he's a video producer for a major video game network. And it's saying, we're sorry you're experiencing issues with Overcooked. Send us a video of it so we know what's wrong with it. And he tweeted about it being a bit of a dick. Someone responded to that with, helping them is a better way to fix the problem than whining about how it's broken. He told that guy to shut the fuck up. Then it all started on industry Twitter with people talking about how he's harassed female developers and journalists in DMs. Someone else said, I guess Overcooked didn't send nudes. Then very trusted insiders, one of which H-Bomber Guy. He's a YouTuber as well. You heard of him?
No, I've not been paying attention to really anything within the Gamergate.
No, it's H-Bomber Guy is a YouTuber.
I don't really know anything anymore, so that's
Yeah.
where I am.
I do recommend him. He's quite good, and he's a leftist as well, even better. But yeah, and then a couple months ago, this was March 26th. He said, he tweeted this out. No offense, but anyone who acts like they didn't jack off to Crystal from Star Fox Adventures is lying to you. Crystal's a very sexualized character within that, and then people called him out. I think Feminist Frequency did, and Anita Sarkeesian brought it up and was like, you're being shitty, stop sexualizing a kids game character. Not even a good Star Fox game, if I'm honest, which shows. And then he had a bit of a tantrum about that. Yeah, he started being weird about it, and people called him out, and then got lots of people on his side, despite the fact that he shouldn't really be on his side because he's being a dick. And now it's all sort of blown off with him being being a harasser, being a sexual nuisance. It's just, I'm just disappointed in the guy, if I'm honest, because he seemed like a nice guy before it, but now, shit.
Yeah. I've not been at all paying attention to anything like that, and mainly just to get out of that kind of drama. But
yeah, go on. Yeah, I get you. There's not really that much drama anymore, but it's just this happened earlier, and it's a big thing, really. Martin Shkreli, the guy who put a 500% increase on a very important medication that only he had.
Evil man. He just looks evil.
Oh yeah, he looks very punchable. He looks incredibly punchable.
His face just needs to be punched a little more than usual.
Yeah, he's been found of guilty of fraud. And he's been accused of defrauding his hedge fund investors and a pharmaceutical company. He was convicted on three of 8 counts on Friday after a 5-week trial. He faces as much as 20 years in prison, which I think that's just a bit more wholesome news, really. Now this guy's finally getting his comeuppance. Even if it is through the prison industrial system, but I think the guy deserves it for sentencing lots of people to death, basically.
Yeah, basically, he's profiting over somebody else's misery, which is something I extremely hate within this whole system. And if I see something like I know there's no ethical consumption in this world anymore, unless you go out and live in like Venezuela, or not Venezuela, like any part of the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
I mean, or out somewhere where there's barely government, or live in the Zapistas in Mexico. And yeah, I mean, I would, if anything, I'd live if anywhere that would be like closest thing to anarcho-communism would be Kurdistan,
Yeah.
and my second one would be Zapistas in the Zapistas states in Mexico, in the
Yeah.
mountains.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that either.
I mean, I'd be able to grow Datura and I'd be able to grow Brugmansia, my two favorite plants, and my two
Yeah.
very medicinal. I mean, I grow them for medicinal purposes. Anyone can buy these plants, and they're 100% legal. But you can concentrate them into a scopolamine, which it can be used as a date rape drug. And I highly recommend no one ever does that to anyone.
Yeah, you were very close to slipping up there.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been a bad slip up.
But thing is, to concentrate it into a scopolamine, it takes almost it takes a shit ton of resources just to concentrate it into a single scopolamine, because within the Brugmansia and Datura plant, you need to take the seeds, and in the Brugmansia, there's more scopolamine, and if you just buy one plant, it takes years and years for it to grow tall enough to flower. And then you have to extract the seeds, you have to grind them up, you have to purify, it's just a bunch of bullshit that you have to go through, and it's insanely impossible just to get scopolamine itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I was really close to slipping up there, but I know that Burundaga, which is used a lot, and Dragon's Breath, which is also used a lot to just exploit people. But what I use it for just like I get manic, and I start to do things I wouldn't normally do to normal people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I do in Mexico. If I could move to anywhere that was anarcho-cap, fuck, God, I'm just anarcho-communism. God, I got the ANCAP stupid fucking ship in my mind right now.
Yeah, that's something I'm sort of confused about. How that they've chosen to go with the fucking ANCAP colours.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it doesn't make them look very good. Like, it's gotten to the point where ANCAPs think it's a they have the voluntarist symbol.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was in an ANCAP group, and I was kind of messing with them. I said, why do ANCAPs use the circle A? Anarchist symbol, when it literally means order without hierarchy. And so an ANCAP went, we don't need it. Look at this. It's both the fucking sea star symbol or the symbol they have on the flag, which is a bit embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
I've seen several ANCAPs defend it.
Well, of course they would. The thing is, I once read an article about a week ago, saying that anarcho-capitalism is not technically anarchism. I can't remember what it actually was called, but I remember
libertarianism.
Yes.
Yeah, libertarianism. I've been around ANCAP for a while, so I was trying to learn about them, and it's like they just want to do their own shit. Like they're a weird group of people, if I'm honest, because it's sort of like 100% deregulation of the free market, which at that point,
laissez-faire.
Yeah, to the point nothing's gonna get fucking done.
Yeah.
It's a stereotype with ANCAPs. It's like, no roads and shit.
Yeah.
There'd be no reason for roads to get built between bits of private property.
The thing is, if they try to instate anarcho-capitalism, how are they going to prevent anyone from just starting to unionize?
Yeah.
How are they going to stop
Or
it from becoming anarcho-communism? With that question said,
basically.
with that
Yeah.
question put forth, I actually have a workaround of when someone asks, well, what about laziness? Laziness. You know, people will understand the needs and they will fill it. And I say that a
Yeah.
lot. When someone, every time on the 101 page, someone asks, well, how do I answer people questioning, uh,
Laziness.
the quote unquote problem with laziness?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Nothing would get done.
nothing would get done first, but then they would realize, hey, we need these things, and they would start working on those things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's what I usually talk about, how the fact there is no need for, I won't have to go to McDonald's and work minimum wage to stay alive. So the destigmatization of work will be gone. At that point, I won't have a stigma. I can't do what I enjoy
Yeah.
because I could die. I could starve to death. That stigma would be gone. There'd be no stigma around working, so everyone would get shit done more conveniently. And there's not much of a rebuttal from that I've come across.
Yeah.
There's probably a flaw there somewhere, but
Oh, anything else we have for news?
News? No, it's been a quiet week.
Yeah, for revolution, unless Maduro in Venezuela, I think it was Venezuela.
Yeah.
Maduro, I guess he had his election.
Yeah, one.
Like, okay, on one hand, he's a quote unquote socialist. I don't give a shit if he's
He's a
socialist.
social.
He's a
He's a social
socialist.
democrat. He's a social democrat. He's a Bernie Sanders type. I don't see any, ownership of the means of production in fucking Venezuela. It's not socialist as far as I'm concerned.
It's more like state allowing businesses come in. Hey, fuck us up. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
now that oil prices are at an extremely low, like Venezuela is not rich anymore, and yet
No.
their basic problem with Venezuela is that they based their economy on oil itself. That's where they had a problem. But it's just
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered a very funny, news story from this week. In London, a group of anarchists called Class War, British comrades have probably heard of this group. One of the best anarchist groups in the UK when it comes to direct action. They recently they let loose their water mains in a very, very posh part of London, very expensive part. They flooded multi-million-pound homes, and also the ex-mayor of London, Boris Johnson, who's now also the Home Secretary. They flooded his basement. Yeah.
I know that Boris guy. Yeah.
Yeah. They flooded his
He's
basement.
That Boris guy. He's like the Donald Trump of
Oh,
England.
yeah. Oh, he talks like this.
Like his
great.
hair. Just like, what the fuck? What is on his head? What is that?
There's a video of him going down on the zip line. I need to send it to you. It's hilarious. He gets stuck on it. Check this out. Just gonna send it to you over Skype.
Alright, let me
I'm just gonna wait for your reaction.
see what this is all about.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna actually have the. Yeah, window. I probably have a window capture here with this.
Oh, cool.
So, see what this is all about.
It's great. It doesn't. It will not Uh, uh,
The Boris Johnson thing. Here we go. Let's go with this. Lovely. It's not showing up. Oh wait, maybe try to full screen this shit out of this. Probably I probably need to put it in like some kind of assembly here. I don't know. But no, it's not showing up.
okay. This is gonna be bad for your listeners then.
Oh, what in the fuck? Is he a fuck? What is that? I see he's ziplining, but like, oh, he's got a fabric. He's got 2 fabrics.
Oh yeah, he's got flags. He's got 2 Union flags.
Look at this. I really don't want to be mean here, but like wearing that helmet.
This game was very, very well organized.
Yeah.
What they do.
Makes him look. Oh, he's gonna hurt himself. Like that's his goal. He's going to hurt himself.
The harness as well. It's just. This is probably not very good for audio listeners, but still. Seems more of a visual joke, but just Google Boris Johnson gets stuck on a zip wire. There's a video from 2012 which documents it pretty well, pretty accurately, and it's brilliant. What's next on the?
I was actually going to be talking about the Anarchist Handbook and other such books that talk about the building of guns in your home through just basic metal.
Oh, the cookbook.
Yeah, no, not the cookbook, but the handbook by Robert Wells. Just hold it up for you guys on the stream here. I only have the 2nd volume of this book, but in this volume we have the sophisticated, reliable submachine gun, but it's more so crude than anything else. A 22 a suppressor for 22 weapons. 12 gauge shotgun, self-igniting firebomb, how to use standard or improvised shotgun firebomb launcher. So basically a shotgun grenade launcher, and how to make napalm safely at home. But Robert Wells' Anarchist Handbook series 1 through 5, or I think it's 1 through 4. Well, it goes in quite detail with the 9mm submachine gun, but I can't physically make something like that at the moment. So, from I guess opening up a Nerf gun and looking how that's made, just thinking about making a breech loading 9mm pistol. With just basically the same schematics of the pistol, but with a breech loader, a pin at in the middle, instead of with an actual firing pin and a barrel. See how that works. Who knows? But that'll be interesting how that ends up.
Yeah, you'll have to talk about it next episode.
Well, if I. It'll be quite the endeavor to make it. I won't be able to make it for months. So I need to get the tools for it. I need to collect all the materials, the tools, supplies, like everything. So that's all I got. I could talk about what happened to me on Saturday.
I was just wondering if you wanted to talk about your meeting with the CP USA.
Oh yes, the CP. Oh, I did have a meeting on I believe Monday.
Yeah.
With the Communist Party of the Communist Party of the United States of America, the local guys, that actually went very well because the CPUSA is actually looking for allies right now. They're looking for just any leftist. But
Yeah.
one thing they really stressed is they don't want an actual like bloody revolution. And
Yeah, I've
I
seen
was
that.
I was fine with what they said, to the point, to that point. I mean, just about everything we agreed with.
What was their reasoning? What was their reasoning for not wanting a revolution?
Not to have a bloody revolution, mainly because it would cost too much, and it would cost too many lives, and it would also be way too much of a. It's not the victory is never certain.
Yeah.
And if we
That's
did
true.
lose, it's going to be like the end of the Spanish Civil War, where they massacred.
Yeah, that's
Bloody
true.
massacre throughout the United States.
I mean, the purpose of revolution is that it's a dialectical process. You know, that is what Marx wrote about. Is that it's not going to come out of nothing. It takes time for it to really come about, or the material conditions required for revolution is a very tricky thing to sort of happen. It doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and even if revolution does come and hit even America, which I mean I could see happening within a 5-10 year.
Yeah, I'd have to give it about 10 years, really, when it comes to the situation, how militarized you are as a country with the National Guard and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been very, very purposed as a system to stop a communist uprising, particularly after the early 20th century with Emma Goldman and lots of left-wing radicals.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly the first Red Scare, which I watched a documentary about.
I mean, I know everything about the Red Scare. Jesus Christ, like, you couldn't be known or even mentioned as a communist. You couldn't exist. And that's the point of which you can't. It's if someone said, "Hey, you sound like a communist," like if anything at all like that happens,
what was that?
like
you don't.
you could be killed. You could be killed. So that's my point there. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's I've heard some negative stuff from the Communist Party of America. I think it was during the election they endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Yeah, stuff like that. It seems they're very much a watered down version of what they were 100 years ago.
Yeah. 100 years ago, they actually had a chance. But the thing is, I mean, they weren't opposed to having a revolution. They just didn't want to go forth and put that much effort into it if they didn't know the outcome. Which I actually can see as a strategist, because if you don't know the outcome, or if you don't see the chances of winning a conflict as more or less than, if you don't see if the chances of winning are less than 60%, don't even try.
Yeah, that's a good point, because those are people. In the end of the day, you know, those are lives. You don't want to treat them like they're nothing.
So yeah, I mean, I could say that much, but yeah. Whew. Lately, the cops have just been emboldened, you know.
It's worrying with the alt-right, and just I'm worried for America, really, in the way it's going, because eventually other countries are going to be like, are going to get involved because he's pissing off lots of NATO countries at the same time.
Yeah.
He tweet the other day about how things with Russia are at an all-time low. Sort of diplomacy is very bad between them right now.
Yeah.
Just because he's just a shit diplomat. I think that's what it stems down to. He's bad at talking with people because he's used to just getting his way as a billionaire.
Yeah. You can't buy countries out unless like those countries are. It's just shit. Well, yeah, the police state. Should I even say what even happened to me? Just on Saturday.
Ooh, is it legal? Legally, can you talk about it?
I can't, but you know, if I say anything, really, it might hurt. It might hurt.
Yeah, it might hurt your case.
It might hurt my case, but anyway, I was on Saturday morning. I was brutalized and beat up by the police around here, and that's I'm still alive. And if I was a different race at all, I wouldn't be alive. And that's where my white privilege comes in, and I really cannot. It's just the worst fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just use myself as the other half of that double standard that this, not just the city that I live in, but it's just also the double standard with just all cops.
Yeah.
It's frightening to me that even that.
It's an epidemic. Lots of it's from what I've seen, lots of people who end up becoming police officers were usually like bullied as kids. You know, it's a way to find some sort of self-worth by pushing back at the world and shit, which is just says a lot about them.
Yeah, I can't even reveal my face because I was thrown to the ground. My face was marked all over. Can't really show what happened to me, but it's just the worst thing.
Yeah, it is. Ooh, I've just found a good article, one that we can talk about
Is
quite
it
a lot.
the Baltimore?
No, it's about the UK.
Oh,
And
is that the fringe Edinburgh?
No, what's that?
In Edinburgh, I believe there's the Fringe Festival, which basically a bunch of it's just fringe artists go out and produce art. A lot of them are a lot of anti-capitalist groups.
Ooh, I'll have to talk to a comrade I know from Edinburgh about that.
Yeah, that much I know. I've seen, I saw it on Al Jazeera, and that much I've got so far. I guess the Baltimore police, I think that is also something about they planted evidence of drugs.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, two pieces of evidence from police body cams have come up recently about them tampering with evidence.
Yeah.
And both guess who you guess who they've been implicating as drug dealers, black people. Because Nixon started it, Trump might as well finish it.
Yeah.
The article I found here is about the UK. and how we've had in the last like 30, 40 years, we've had two major um, uh, prime ministers. Really, we had Margaret Thatcher in the 80s and Tony Blair in the early 2000s. He was the one who was basically like America's sock puppet. Both of them were very laissez-faire. Thatcher more than anybody. She followed Friedman's ideas of the free market and a quote-unquote individualist way of laissez-faire capitalism, same way Reagan did. She was basically the UK Reagan. And she fucked up the economy here. It pissed off everybody from the middle class to like miners with an ER, not an OR. And Blair sort of continued that mindset of economics. Yet even now, the Conservatives, which is the party Thatcher ran under, they're basically our Republican. Even they have spoken against a laissez-faire capitalism, against individualist capitalism in their manifesto. They quoted, "We reject the cult of selfish individualism," which is always a way, is sort of a jab at Thatcherites. The Liberal Democrats, who are the closest thing to a libertarian party we have, as well, is definitely trying to move away from that, and they're libertarians, which says a lot about how much laissez-faire capitalism actually works. It's just interesting,
Yeah.
really, and how it's Britain as a whole has sort of fell out of love, as the article puts it, with the free market, because it's been tried and it's failed for lots of people. Yeah, I'm not complaining, if I'm honest. Britain's probably out of the most, out of the main two countries, the US, and I say main in quotation marks, and most looked upon countries. The UK is most likely going to see a revolution. We nearly had one in the 70s, and I have my heart set on a revolution here in this country within my lifetime, hopefully at least.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah. What else is there going on?
Fuck, I had a question, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
God
I
I really should have wrote it down, but
Alright, we'll give you a minute to think about that. In between, I'm going to talk about something that's quite cool. It's that the music service Bandcamp, which I use and a lot of other independent artists use, is giving away all the money they make on that to the Transgender Law Center, which in America is the one fighting for trans rights, isn't it? The bathroom law in America.
I believe so.
The fight again. Yeah, all the money Bandcamp makes off of that, which is 50%. So if you bought an album for $1, the artist would get 5 cents, and Bandcamp would get, wait no, shit, the artist would get 50 cents, and the Bandcamp would get 50 cents. Roughly, there's percentage, but there's roughly 50% each, and it's just a really cool cause. So if any artists you know that and like that use Bandcamp, I suggest, if you can now, being the time, you buy something from them, because it's just the best time, really.
Yeah.
Remember the question? Yeah.
No, I don't. But Yeah, earlier on the Telegram group, I was talking with people on there just about how to just make guns. It was like we had multiple opinions. One was suggested that I guess ramrod or barrel, or I guess barrel loading. I can't remember what that's called, but
I know nothing about guns. I've shot an air rifle a couple of times, and that's the closest I've ever gotten to an actual gun before because of how strict we are in this country with them.
yeah. About that there we go. That might have been the question. It was. I think a couple of years ago, some guy, I think CP Lewis, some guy that wrote a book about how to make a homemade submachine gun.
Ooh, okay.
And I guess England or the UK had a law restricting people from making guns, I guess. So this guy, he went to the hardware store and he bought all the parts for it. And his argument was to ban making to ban the making of firearms is to ban the purchase of metal itself. So
Yeah.
that they're done. How could you ban metal, the purchase of metal, to just a few corporations?
Yeah. It's
I'm the schematics that I've drawn up here are actual. I went into a Nerf gun and I just looked at the trigger mechanism and the release mechanism, and it's fairly simple for me to understand. And that's all I need to know, really. It's just a few springs. And all I need to do is just build the whole the firing mechanism, like the pull, to pull it back, have it latch onto it, have it hold there, put the bullet in, and then have it fire and hit the firing pin hit the sparker, and then have it just sit there, you know. But one thing I need to do is have it spring out after firing. That's one thing. Either that or just have it come out loosely.
Yeah, I know nothing about guns. I know the basics of it. My dad was a firearms instructor in post-Soviet Russia when it just after the Iron Curtain fell and there was like gang wars and shit in the streets. He was a firearms officer. He was a firearm police officer, which is shitty. But then he went into private security. He worked for Palestinians, doing like weird covert stuff for Palestinians for a while. I don't know if I should have said that on a live stream. But anyway, and yeah, he's taught me basics about guns, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, best way to learn is just go on YouTube. One guy actually is to watch Forgotten Weapons, the YouTube channel. He actually takes guns apart and basically shows you how they work. Another way to figure out how guns work, is to like get a toy gun that shoots like any projectile. Anything like that, and that's basically how guns work. It's not any electrical thing, or it's all mechanical, so you don't need any power. So the release, it's really simple for me to understand. It's basically, it's kind of like low-grade programming, but with your hands, I guess.
Yeah. I'm a good shot. I know that at least from the limited interactions I've had. I've got a air pistol at home and some very, very low caliber pellets for that, but still. I just from me giving a couple of shots about that. I was pretty good with it, relatively good with it.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can be trained, really. But we've got 5 minutes left of our live stream, so.
All right. You want to talk about?
Really. Fuck the police.
Yeah,
They're out there. They're hunting everyone down. They're out there and they're gonna hunt everyone down, no matter what your race is. But depending on your race, that's gonna matter if you're gonna be dead or not. So.
Yeah.
I have that to say. Can't really live in this fucking system anymore. But defend yourself. If they even don't talk to fucking cops. That's one thing you need to do is just not talk to them. Don't give them any information.
Oh, absolutely. I'm semi-skeptical on the whole "don't talk to cops" thing because I suggest you don't do it when it's petty theft and stuff, but when it's something like say sexual harassment, I do suggest you talk to the police about that one. Really, it's very un-anarchist of me, but there's not really any other way for abuse survivors to sort of handle that.
Yeah. Well,
it's just a weird one.
I mean, yeah, really try not to talk to police if it's going to endanger your life.
If it's a victimless crime like theft, I suggest you leave it.
Yeah.
But I just found something I'd like to talk about.
All right.
Ben Shapiro, have you heard of him? The alt-right guy?
No. Yes, I've heard of him, but not much.
Yeah, he's a writer and stuff. Well, he's a quote-unquote writer. He came out with this book last year. I've only just found out about it through the podcast El Chapo, the El Chapo Trap House, which is like, it's my favorite podcast at the moment. And well, I just want to read the summary on Amazon for his book, because it is the most, as alt-right people would put, virtue signaling book I've heard of. New York Times best-selling author Ben Shapiro's new novel asks, how close are we to our country's collapse? And will we be able to stop it once it begins? America is coming apart. An illegal immigration crisis is broken out along America's southern border. There are race riots in Detroit. A fiery female rancher turned militia leader has vowed revenge on the president for his arrogant policies. I'm guessing in the book is a placeholder for Obama. And the world's most notorious terrorist is planning a massive attack that could destroy the United States as we know it. Meanwhile, the president is too consumed by legacy seeking to see our country's deep peril. This is the best bit. The name is brilliant. Brett Hawthorne is the youngest general in the United States Army, and he's stuck alone behind enemy lines in Afghanistan. He's the last lost soldier of a failed war, fighting to stay alive and make it back home. But will he be able to stop the collapse of America in time?
No. No. The answer is no. He's going to die.
No.
And also America's going to die. Fuck America.
No, but like think of right just from that summary. How many subplots are there?
There's like a million.
Yeah,
Stick
there's
to stick to one plot and maybe have like one or two
yeah,
subplots, but don't fucking have like a billion.
yeah, there's an illegal immigration crisis. There are race riots in Detroit. There's a militia. There's a militia leader who was a rancher. Who's vowed revenge on the president. There's the terrorist plot. There's the president's story arc. I'm guessing, which probably ends in him being killed. Probably. And there's the Brett Hawthorne thing. That's 6 subplots. 6 subplots within a book that's currently being sold for £7. So I'm guessing
Not
it's
worth
not
the
many
fucking
pages.
paper it's printed on.
It's got one review on Amazon, and it's 1 star.
1 star is too many.
Yeah. Oh, he's the editor at large of Breitbart. That's right. Piece of shit.
Anyway.
This
Yeah.
this review.
Yeah, one last thing.
Oh.
I believe we have a new anarchist comrade, I guess a public figure. Some English former diplomat.
Oh, yeah, no, I watched the documentary.
That is amazingly that's great.
Yeah, that's really good. Have you seen the documentary?
Not the whole thing, really.
I suggest you do. I'll find a YouTube link for you afterwards. But
Yeah.
At one point, he goes to a town in Spain, and it's called Marina Leda, and I'm going to be in 2 weeks' time, about a 40-minute drive from there. So I'm probably going to visit it. I'm going to take some pictures, and then I'll probably be able to talk about it in the next episode we do.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
All right.
All right.
I guess that concludes this week's edition of the BF Black Flag Revolutionaries podcast
/ live stream.
/ live stream. Thank you all for watching. This is Commander Red signing off with Ethan.
Steele. Ethan Steele.
Steele. I really don't like saying last names on here, but I
No,
guess.
it's fine. I'm probably already on a watch list in this country because my face has been taken by police officers before. Anyway, goodbye, comrades.